只有共赢才是真正的赢家。
Good morning. It seems that Malaysians are very excited over here. Huh? Okay, before I start, just want to check over here. Do we have any friends that just came back from China? Our Shanghai trip? Wow. Can we give all these, our qualifiers, a warm round of applause? Okay, before I start the session for tonight, I just want to borrow your hands again. Thank our wonderful MC, Yi Ching. Just a point of clarification, I do not have 2 degrees, I only have 1 degree. I'm not so smart, okay? Okay, I got only 1 degree. I was a double major, okay, but only 1 degree. Well, anyway, I guess today we have a lot of new friends over here. Do we have any new friends the first time? Okay, shall we give all these new friends a round of applause? I guess our MC has done a good job in introducing myself, and before I start, I would like to reintroduce myself again. My name is Rayne. Rayne is in R-A-Y-N-E, not R-A-I-N. Okay, not hujan, huh? Bukan hujan, huh? Or not the Korean rain also, huh? Well, I came from Malaysia, but I stayed in Singapore for 21 years already. In fact, since at the age of 13, I went there to further my study. And since then, no chance to turn back. Huh? So I've been around for 21 years, starting this business in December 2000. So next month will be my 6 years anniversary in this business. I started the business way back on 21st of December in year 2000, right? Like our MC mentioned. In fact, because of the change of regulation in Singapore, I got the opportunity to start this business. And because of this business, I get to travel to many places. In fact, for the past 21 years that I was in Singapore, I seldom came back to Malaysia because there's any excuses or opportunity for me to come back. But because of New Skin business today, I'm able to come back to Malaysia almost every month, right? On top of coming back to Malaysia, of course, for the past 3.5 years, I've been in China most of the time. In fact, I just came back from China yesterday. Almost about 50% of my time I spent in China right now. So it seems that right now, it's difficult for me to speak in English. Huh? The last time I speak in English is almost 9 months to 1 year ago. At least in Kuala Lumpur over here. Okay, and of course last year we started in Indonesia too. That was close about 1 year ago. And tonight I'm going to share you something. I think there are a lot of new friends over here, and we have some old friends too. I'm going to share some of the pointers or tips that how to do well in New Skin business. I guess some of you over here are fresh graduates or young people. I know some of you over here are established businessmen, right? Be it which industry you come from. I just want to share with you or rather the tips that we actually built a business for the past 6 years in this, we call it global business. Well, before I start the session for tonight, right, I just want to share something with you over here about mindsets. Because the first point I'm going to share with you is about mindsets. In fact, mindsets, I don't know how many of you, any one of you know what is mindset? Don't know. Huh? In fact, mindset actually changed your life, you know. Right, I just want to quote an example over here. Well, we always possess the kind of mindset whereby, you know, we need to study our formal education, right? We go to primary school, and after which we go to secondary school, and we further study. Hopefully, we can graduate from university, and we find a good job. And after that, we get married, right? Then after 30 or 40 years later, we get retired. Hopefully, we are still alive. True? I think there's almost about 90% to 99% of the people are actually pursuing this path. Am I right? Yes or no? Right, especially for those countries whereby you realize that education are able to be provided almost free. Because, in fact, in Malaysia and Singapore today, we are very lucky. Why? Because we are given proper formal education. Am I right? Yes or no? Right, don't take this for granted because there are a lot of countries, in fact, they do not have the chance to go, a lot of kids, a lot of children, they do not have the opportunity to go to school. Right? Even though in Singapore and Malaysia, we have the kind of opportunity. So you realize that almost like 90% of the people, because the parents has got this kind of mindset that they need to go to school, right, to receive proper education, after which, when they graduate from school, they look for a good job, then after that, they climb the corporate ladder, then after that, they've got to retire. Is it true that because your parents' mindset, that resulted to what you are today? Yes or no? Because when you are 6 or 7 years old, you do not have a chance to make a decision. Am I right? Yes or no? Probably that by the time you actually go to university, you probably have able to exercise some control or choice on which subject you want to further your study. But in fact, we talk about when you are 5 or 6 years old, do you have the choice? No, right? In fact, you realize that our life or our fate is actually determined by the mindset of our parents. Because our parents have the kind of mindset, right? They believe, they have certain belief system, and they mold us into what we are today. Right? So in fact, since young, actually, we are very much influenced by our parents or the people around us. Right? Just like maybe, I don't know how about you, right? I think most of the people when they are young, sometimes maybe your parents are not that successful, but you have some successful uncles or aunties. Yeah? Right? Some are doctors and lawyers. Right? Well, these people might actually influence your decision at the end of the day. And from there on, you realize that you decided to become a doctors, the lawyers. So same thing over here in New Skin business. You realize that if you want to be successful in New Skin, and first one very important that you got to change your mindset, because when actually your mindset will actually determine your decision, right? What kind of decision you're going to make, and from the decision that actually you make, it will influence your action, right? Because your parents they have the kind of certain mindset that we need to go through proper education. Then after they make a decision that you need to go to kindergarten and primary school or even secondary school, right? So they start to take actions. And what happened, the end result is you'll become a graduate, assuming that you are a good student. Am I right? Yes or no? So same thing over here, if you want to do well in New Skin business, we got to start to acquire some mindsets over here, which we always, when all the new people that start coming into this business, we call it a new distributor orientation. We start to talk about mindset. Otherwise, if you just talk about skills or actions, but you realize that if you do not change your mindset, it's difficult. Because what influences you at the end of the day is actually your mindset. So let's look into some of the pointers over here. Okay, let's look into some of the pointers over here. I think we're going to touch on the first two important concepts or two important mindset you need to possess. Assuming that today you do not have the kind of mindset yet, you need to acquire, right? So you re-educate yourself. These two important concepts. So the first one is long-term thinking. Many people are not able to become very successful, or well, some have acquired some instant success due to probably because of good background, good connections, right? Because of their past experience in certain businesses, but that's what we call just instant success. It's not a prolonged, or we talk about long-term success, right? In order for you to acquire long-term success in New Skin, I think one important concept we must have is about long-term thinking, right? And a lot of people, they fail in this business, or they are not able to achieve phenomenal success in New Skin business because they give up just too early. I just want to quote an example over here, right? In our normal traditional educational system in Malaysia, how many years for you to complete a primary school education? 6 years, right? Secondary school? 5 or 6. Some smarter, 4 years, right? Right? We talk about maybe 5 or 6 years. 5 or 6? 6 years, right? So another 6 years. How about college? Huh? 3? almost 4 years, right? So if you talk about 6 plus 6 is about 12 years, plus 4 years is 16 years. That is basic degree, right? If you pursue certain honors degree or master degree, that costs you about 20 years. Am I right? If you do not possess the kind of long-term thinking, can you be a master graduate? Huh? Because the fact that you persist, right, you have the kind of long-term thinking. That's why today, a lot of people, they went through the normal education system. And at the end of the day, they become a graduate. But I'm not talking about 20 years or 30 years over here in New Skin. Okay? Don't have to be told so long to become successful. But you must have the kind of mentality because you realize that there will not be instant success. Right? Once you have the kind of mentality, you realize that you will be very calm in building the business. Some people are very fast in this business, but not all. But more important is that New Skin they provided equal opportunity for everybody. Be it you have a humble background or poor background, it doesn't matter. The reason why New Skin is great, not because they only provide opportunity for those people who are filthy rich already. No. The reason why they make New Skin business is great is because they provide every normal person, single person, have the kind of opportunity. Be it you are young or old, right? So long-term thinking is extremely important. But for some of you, if you start in this business, you talk about get rich quick over here. Unfortunately, this business is going to disappoint you, right? Because this is not a get rich quick scheme. Well, you could have some instant gratification, right? Assuming that you have some good context initially, right? You must have some better income compared to what you are working outside. But if you want to talk about long-term success, you really need to change your mindset over here into long-term thinking, right? Always make comparison. Many times people feel unhappy. It's because you realize that they always compare with other people's. Am I right? Right? There's a saying goes, right? Don't always compare with people. Right? Chinese saying goes, 人比人气死人, right? So never compare. People will not be happy because they always compare with other people. Always compare with yourself. Right? Even though if you're not in New Skin business, I bet you're going to work for 30 or 40 years. Am I right? Yes, no? Anyway, you're going to work 30 years or 40 years. If you start work at 25 years old, right? If you retire at 60 years old, you're going to work for another 35 years. But whether you're involved in New Skin or not, you need to do something. Right? When you think about this way, you will feel better. If you have some upset or some obstacles, right? So this is something that you need to really instill in your mind. Every time when you realize that you feel some setback, you will pick up yourself very fast. Okay? And you tell yourself that if I do not do this business comparatively, if I go back to own a job, is it going to be better? So this is something that I always remind myself, if I'm not in this business, given that I hold a job in corporate world, would it be better than what I'm doing right now? So after some thought, I realized that this is still the best business. That's the reason why that I keep on persisting in this business, right? The second mindset we need to have is about 100% duplication. And this business is very much focused on duplication. Because only through duplication and multiplication, from that you realize that we will have a huge organization. From that we will achieve freedom. Right? That is the whole essence about network marketing business. It's not about direct selling. Direct selling is very much dependent on your own direct efforts to make money. Right? The reason why we got involved in network marketing or multi-layer marketing business because there's a leverage income features. But in order for you to achieve or enjoy leverage income, right, you realize that your network or your organization must be able to duplicate what you're doing. So when you first start in this business, you don't try to think too much. Right? Many of your uplines, especially your working uplines, has been around for so many years. Right? They already have a model for you to follow. The reason why this business, compared to a lot of traditional business, the rate of success is relatively higher. Why? Because they already have a success model for you to duplicate. So when you first started in this business, don't think any new ideas for yourself. Just follow. Right? Just follow. Okay? And in fact, we emphasize 100% duplication. Even to a certain extent that even our attire, for a lot of our male builders, right? A lot of them are actually in white shirt, red tie, in jackets. Right? We do not actually force people to actually dress in this way. But just that because of it's easy for people to start from what? Physical, right? Am I right? Is it easy to duplicate a mindset overnight? No. Is it easy? No. It's very difficult. But sometimes you'll be right, when you change your actions, they will actually influence your mindset. So the easier part is for you to start changing. Many people you realize, I just want to be what I am. True. But if you continue to do what you are doing right now, you only get what you get right now, right? Sometimes you realize it, but just like a change in appearance or your physical appearance, you attract curiosity. Some of your friends will be very amazed to find out what are you doing right now, right? So that is where you realize that you have the opportunity to talk to more people, right? So when you first start the business, don't questions. Just follow. Just follow, right? Until a certain level, you realize that when you learn more, then you bring to the next level, right? So the reason why we focus on 100% duplication when you first started in the business, the first reason why is don't waste your time making mistakes or doing research. Sometimes in this business, we see a lot of analysts. We do need a lot of analysts in this business. We need doers, okay? Because it's not for you to analyze. It's been around for 22 years, new skin business. And of course, for network marketing, it's close to about 50 years. It's not for you to analyze to come out a thesis whether new skin can do or not. Okay? That is not the purpose or objective for joining this business. So, don't waste time making mistakes. Or don't question, right, the credibility of a biophotonic scanner. Because first, you are not a doctor. Even though you are a doctor, you may not be good in this field. You understand what I mean? Some people are very interesting, You know, they try to question or, have great doubts about biophotonic scanner. I tell them, right, a new skin investor close to about 20 to 30 million US dollar. Cannot be just spending so much money just to want to cheat one person like you, right? How much do you have for new skin to cheat? Right? You see, some people you realize that the reason why they are not successful because they think very poor. Right? They always think that people will cheat them. But put it in this way, right? Big companies like New Skin will have invested more than close to about 30 million. How can they cheat you, right? Well, so do not waste time making mistakes. That's the reason why we duplicate 100%. The second reason, keep it simple. Right, keep it simple. Why? Because if you have something to follow, it's easy. Am I right? Especially when you are new, you realize that you have new people, your new builders joining you very fast. Within the first 1 or 2 months in the business. Then how do you duplicate them? But if you are able to put it very simple, and we stick to 100% duplication, and you realize that your group will grow very fast. Okay? The third reason why you want to focus on 100% duplication is we want to provide high stable network. Many people thought that this business is very much actually dependent on ability. Well, let me tell you, this is not true. I have seen myself that in this business, there are a lot of very capable people, right? Unfortunately, they fail in this business. You know why? It's not that because they are no good. It's just because they are just too good. Right? When they are just too good, you realize it cannot be duplicated. The whole essence about this business is how well this business model can be duplicated. You understand what I mean? Right? It's not how good you are. In fact, sometimes the better you are, the worse off you are doing in this business. Because you realize that nobody can follow what you are doing. You get what I mean? So this is a business whereby you realize it's very different from what you actually operate outside. Like traditional business or even you're owning a shop yourself. It's very different. Well, the reason why we focus on 100% duplication, the third reason again, we want to provide a highly stable network over the long term. Be it you spend 3 years or 5 years or 10 years of the time in New Skin, right? We hope the reason why we want to focus or spend so much time in New Skin business, we hope to achieve long-term, highly stable and highly residual profits. That is our objective. If you spend 10 years of time, at the end of the day, back to square one. It's just like any traditional business or any deal. Right? Sometimes, if you have a deal, you could make millions of dollars. Possible? Yes. Yeah? Possible, right? But that is one time off. We are actually fascinated by New Skin business or multi-layer marketing business because of the residual feature. Right? What do we mean by residual feature? That means that you do one times, you receive many times. Just like what? Like Michael Jackson. Right? Like all these people, but unfortunately you do not have the opportunity to become Michael Jackson, right? You have to be too talented. But in this business, you realize that we have the opportunity. Why? Because we duplicate the network. Okay, then we talk about how to duplicate in this business. Right? This is something that's simple that everybody can do. Right? If only 1 or 2% can do, that is too tough. right? So how to duplicate over here is that first start from yourself. This business does not require a lot of salesmanship, but it requires a lot of leadership. Okay? What I mean by leadership is that if you want somebody to do the work, then you have to start doing it. Right? You are not a speaker or a coach, but rather that you realize that you did it or you actually experience it and you share with people. Right? So how to duplicate over here, the same thing is start from yourself. Like you talk about, right, if you need to learn OPP over here, right? Or you need to learn about NDO, or you need to know how to operate the scanner, right? These are the things you need to learn, basic skills in this business. Then first start to do yourself. Then what to do the next, right? How to duplicate. Then any new idea first consult with your working outlines. Right? During the process of duplication, meaning that process of doing the business, you realize that you have some ideas or complication. Possible? Yes, right? So if you do have any new ideas, first consult with your outlines, especially your working outlines, not the sleeping outlines. Okay, working outlines meaning those people that are active in building the business. Why? Because they can give you free consultation. Right? The reason why I say that the rate of success in this business is higher if you are a good follower, especially during the initial stage. Because you actually get a lot of tips from your successful uplines. Unlike traditional business or other business venture, you realize that nobody is going to teach you. Those really, really good ones will never teach you. Okay? Those who teach you are those consultants. And these so-called consultants, they may not be successful before in any business. But they only provide you with advice. Okay? Advice and theories are different compared to the real world. Right? If some people you realize that some of the theories or ideas sounds good, but when it comes to application, it takes a lot of what? Sometimes it takes a lot of courage, right? Emotional. So you realize in this business, you need your working uplines to guide you during every emotional turns, which may result in different outcomes, right? So we talk about any new idea, first discuss or consult with your working uplines. I love this business because you realize that, right, a lot of times, we have a lot of good ideas, we got it for free. Right? A lot of goods, we got our consultants, our mentors, our teachers, right? We get it for free. Many times outside, if you need to get anything, do you have to pay? Yes or no? Yes. Sometimes you pay a lot, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really help you in the business. Right? But at least you realize that for all your working uplines, they went through the path. Right? They go through, we so-called today, we are at the LTP, right? To become an executive. How do you feel when you become an executive? Right? Maintaining 2,000 points. What is kind of emotional if you do not achieve it? Right? Then moving on every level from gold, lapis, right? From Luby. When you have some downlines, executive, right? How do you build a group? Presentation, small group meeting. Right? Then from there you move on to diamond or even to blue diamond. And from a local market, you build into a global market. It requires different skills, right? And the time, your emotion management too. Well, the third thing is that win your upline friendship and trust. In this business, it's something that's very unique compared to the business outside. It's very much of relationship and trust. The foundation of this business is about friendship and relationship, right? So you realize that why we mention about win your upline friendship, not like those corporate world whereby you need to goreng your boss, right? Or your managers or so-called so that you get promoted earlier. No, right? In this business, you don't have to. What we mean win your upline friendship, meaning that, right, you just try to let them know that actually you are very sincere and you really want to do this business very much. Right? Sometimes you realize that your working upline especially, that they're so busy with the schedule. How do they know that who are the people that are serious in the business? They would know. They would know. Right? So we need to identify ourselves. Okay? So we try to catch the attention, right? And build the kind of friendship, right? And trust. A lot of people, they thought that, well, in this business, I thought I'm supposed to treat my downlines well, not my uplines. What do you think? You could have many downlines, right? But you could have only one uplines, right? I mean, we talk about direct, right? You could have many, many indirect uplines. But you realize that these are the people who will feed you with all the positive information and right mindset. Right? If you lose a downline, can you find another one? Yes or no? Yes. Right? If you lose a mentor, probably you lose the rest of your life. Am I right? So you must get this thing right. Sometimes you realize that, some people, they treat the uplines like what? Drivers. Or what? Like a maid, right? Part-time maid, right? Or caretaker, right? All kinds of things. So you realize that same thing, win your upright friendship so that they may be able to help you in one way or another. Okay? Next slide. Process of duplication. So I want you to observe over here, right? We are in the business of duplication. So what are the process and what is the role and what can the system do for you, right? Okay, the first thing over here, yourself. What do you need to do? You need to share the business and share the products, right? We talk about it. Right, they follow the system. In terms of what? Right, they attend regular meetings. Right, they listen to tapes. Right, they watch, they read the recommended books like the system. Right, so these are what we call the duplicable teacher or duplicable person. Why? Because they follow the same voice. Right, they follow the same voice. As a result, you realize that you are able to have a 100% duplicable network. But if you just have a huge volumes without a duplicable person, you realize that in no time, it will just disappear. So we focus a lot on building people, not the volumes, right? Because if you have people, you will have volumes, okay? If you have just volumes without have duplicable leaders, you realize that sometimes because some promotion of the company, right? Some exciting products, right? They result in the growth in your volumes, but that is temporary, okay? Well, what the system provides for you, right? I want to add something over here. What actually we define system, right? Sometimes people will think, everything they blame it on the system, right? I just want to clarify over here. What do we mean by a system? A system actually consists of many people coming together of like mindset. That consists of a system, right? A system itself is not something that is, so fantastic. No. It's just that because of a group of people of like-minded, right, they want to grow this business seriously, and that is why we form a group, right? This is called system. For some of the established market, right, Malaysia and KL, right, we could have a lot of regular meetings because they already have a group of committed people, and that is where you realize that the support system can be complete. You get what I mean? For those places, you realize that especially next time when you grow in China, right, you could grow in one of the city or places whereby there's no system support at all. So how? Who is the system? You become the system. Why? Because it will start from you, and then you influence a group of committed people, right? And from that, you build a support group for all your downlines, right? Some people will say that especially when we build a business in China is so big, right? Some people, they do not understand the meaning of system. And when they go to build a small city or some cities in China, and they will complain, how come there's no system support? The system come from where? Come from you, right? Come from you. Of course, if there's any established market whereby we already have a system support, your growth of the business relatively will be faster. Right? So you can identify some of the markets whereby you realize that, we already have established support system, even in China. Especially if you want to go to China and build a business, same thing over here, right? Focus on some of the cities whereby you realize that we have regular meetings. Then it's easier for you to build a business. Well, if you go to some of the cities that you realize that we do not have the kind of regular meetings, then you got to start from who? Yourself, right? Okay, so when we talk about a system, what can we provide, right, when it's established? The first thing we talk about trainings. Right, we have a regular OPP, opportunity product presentation, or we have regular NDO. Right, in some established market, usually we have once a month at least. Right, and of course we have others training like guest other training, right, Q training, E training, special trainings. Right, 2 days, 1 night, 3 days, 2 nights. Right, these are the things that you realize are provided by the system. Right, not every other groups you realize that they provide that kind of infrastructure for you. So you need to tap on all these things to help to grow your business. You understand what I mean? Right, these are the things that we provide for you. And tools like what? CD tapes. Right, recently you realize because of G3, right? We have what? We have our G3 brochure, right? And of course recently we have, because of scanner, we have what? We have the SES appointment card, right? So these are the things that for help you to boost your business. Right? So you need to keep yourself updated. Okay? I always say that I just came back from China. I was sharing with a lot of my China downlines. I was telling them, in fact, New Skin today is totally different from what we had 22 years ago. Right, we started from skincare business, but today you realize it's total facelift. Right? If it's not for the name of New Skin, I think if you look at scanner, what is it got to do with New Skin? Am I right? So we need to keep updated, right? Okay, so tools provided by system actually are those, our leaders who are active in the market, right? We try to come up something which is up to date to the market. Well, the third thing is consultation. What is consultation over here, right? We talk about a line of sponsorship here, right? Anything that, of course, on top of what you can receive the information from the parent company, which is New Skin, right? You can receive a lot of positive information from your line of sponsorship, your uplines, or your working uplines, right? So when a support system is fully completed, right? You can always track or you can always consult your working uplines. If the person who sponsors you is not active in the business, what do you do? What should you do? Give up. Huh? Some people say, my upline died already, I also die. Die together. We are not die together, we are success together. Huh? Huh? Right? So if your upline who sponsor you just happen to be, they are at the right timing, right? But doesn't mean that they are serious in the business. You could be more serious than him. So how? Track upwards. Right? Just keep on tracking. Right? In China, I have downlines that are 7 or even 8 generations. Right? And some of the upline on top are sleeping. Some of them sleep halfway. Right? There are all kinds of people because everybody's commitment level is different. True? Right? Everybody's perception about this business is different. Some treat as just a part-time income. Some treat as a game. Sometimes some people treat as a lifestyle. Right? Some people treat as a full-time business. Or some people treat like a job. It's different. The attitude is different. So what you need to do is you track upline for free consultation. Right? And refer to working uplines. Next slide. Okay. The simple things that actually you can do to keep track of your growth every day. If you can do this every day, you are fantastic. Right? But of course, this is almost impossible for you to do it every day. But what you can do is that you try to make yourself to do it. You understand? So this is something like a checklist. So what are the things that we need to do in this business? Right, the first thing, show the plan. Or we talk about making presentation. Right, a part-timer, I know that there are a lot of part-timers who are still holding on to a job, right? You need to do at least 3 to 5 presentations every week. Minimum. Right, that is minimum. But for those full-timer, at least you need to do 5 to 8 presentations every week. And this presentation includes what? Your own personal contacts and we call it ABC, right? Together with your downlines. Right? But of course, that is minimum. Can you do more than that? Yes, no? Yes. There's no control. We talk about just average.
If you just want to have average in this business, then you just do average, right? If you want to do extraordinary, then what happened? Huh? You do more. You need to do more, right? So talking about presentation about product, presentation about the opportunity, right? If you are trying to rope in more business builders, then you need to talk about the opportunity, right? If you focus more on the product presentation, then you will get more customers, because whatever you focus, you will get whatever you want. You get what I mean? Right? You need to show people about your plan. This business is easy because the plan is already existed for many years. Especially in New Skin, we are proven for 22 years already, right? In the whole world. It's not easy to draft a plan, a master plan we call it, to get people to get involved in the business, in the traditional business. But in New Skin, relatively it's easy because the plan is fixed. We just need to talk to many people who are able to see the vision and they join us. Right? Even though if you look at all the great entrepreneurs, they are doing the same thing every day. I met a lot of friends of mine who are doing traditional business. Right? They are doing the same thing. Right? They're also showing people about the project, doing presentation, same thing. Right? Many of you could have heard about, right, Mr. Lim Gotong. Never heard about Mr. Lim Gotong? Huh? They are bidding for Sentosa, They are coming. Right? But maybe you don't know who is Mr. Lim Gotong, but I suppose you heard about Genting Highland, right? Never heard about Genting? Please lah. Don't be too innocent, okay? I know every week you go up, okay? So, the founder of Genting International is Mr. Lim Gotong. Okay, I don't know why it's Lim Gotong, not Lim Lak Tong, huh? Okay, so anyway, we're talking about this guy, right? In fact, I always like to quote his story because it's very, very inspiring and motivating. Because I'm trying to imagine, right? We always say that in this business, it's difficult to show the plan to people. I don't know why it's difficult, because it's always the same. But let's look into Mr. Lim Gotong. First, right, we know that Genting has got a casino, right? Yes or no? And Malaysia is a Muslim country, right? Can Muslim gamble? Can or not? Cannot. But Mr. Lim Gotong, being a Chinese, am able to convince and persuade and influence, right, the government to give him a casino license in a Muslim country. This is as good as it's a miracle. Am I right? Yes or no? So I always wonder, during that time, how can he have the kind of convincing power to actually influence the then we call it the Tengku, right? Yes or no? In fact, I realized that what he did is the same thing. He just showed the plan and sell ideas. Do you think the first time when he called, that time I don't think that they have handphone yet. Right? No handphone, right? So probably he called from the office or at home. Right? Tengku, how are you tonight? Want to attend OPP? So he will probably give him some proposal and some ideas that why that is good to have a casino in Malaysia, right? Yes or no? You think Tengku will accept? Good idea! How come I never thought of that? You think so? Because Tengku will say, Siao ah, you want me to die ah? Why? This is the Muslim country, Right? How can I approve a casino in a Muslim country? Then what happened to Lim Gotong? Disappointed. That's why every time when you show the plan to people, you got so excited, but they responded negatively, right? Did he persist? Of course he persisted, right? If not, there's no Genting. So how many times, I don't know, I never interviewed him personally, but I believe that there are a lot of times of persuasion, right? I haven't read his book, but I got his book. Okay, but I heard that eventually he got the license because he grabbed the right timing. Right? After many times proposing and he never gave up. And what happened is that one time, I forgot the time, the economy is not doing so well. Right? When the economy is not doing so well, as a country, you realize that you need to create more activities, right? To attract more tourists, people to come in to bring funds in. Am I right? So he took the opportunity whereby the economy is not so good, and he come out the proposal again. Right? He sell the ideas that by actually building a casino, what happened? You can attract a lot of tourists. Especially can attract a lot of rich Singaporeans. Right? The time our relationship is not so good. So by thinking of can make a lot of money from Singaporeans, that's a good idea, right? So at the end of the day, you realize that today, Genting is made great because of one person's idea. Did he show the plan? Yes, no. I think his plan is tough. Even though, let me tell you, right, when the plan is approved, do you think that he will have a lot of work to do? Approval is just one thing. Just like right now, a lot of people bidding for Sentosa, right? That is just bidding, you know. After that, walao, a lot of work to do, right? But ours, just show the plan. The plan is already existing, right? If you want to do the business, just follow the system. The OPP and product demo, that's all. And then after that, what you need to do? Just duplicate. But you don't need billions of dollars to invest in a casino, right? So sometimes you realize that lucky these people never come and do new skin. Huh? Right now. Then we got chance, right? If these people come and do new skin, I think they are superstar. Because I find that it's so difficult for. So you realize in doing business, right, consistently, we need to show the plan. I don't know how many of you actually think that when you come to new skin, you are not running a business. Right? If you are not running a business, you've got to change your mindset. Most people fail in this business because they treat themselves like an employee. That is a problem. Right? You have to change your mindset right away. You are running your own business. The system here is to help you to support your business. Then you realize that you will do a lot of more things for yourself. If not, you realize that, right, there's no order, then don't do. Just like working for people, right? 5 o'clock, wow. Time's up. Shoo. Gone ready. In this business, if you're hardworking, you can work until 2 o'clock. Right? Because it's your own business. Right? So the first thing you need to do, remember, show the plan. Right? Show many times, until it become part of you. I just came back from Beijing 2 days ago. Right? On Sunday, we have a training there. I spoke to one of the sales director. Right? He told me that if one day he never talked to people about new skin, he cannot tahan. Well, I say it's difficult for you to fail in this business. When he talk about new skin, I tell you, he's so excited. Then he's always on the net, you know, at night. Always on the net and chat with people. His way of networking is chatting with people. Then after that, he call it fishing. After they fish, the next day, you know, they fix appointment. And he tell himself that every day, he need to know a new person. He can chat early in the morning until 3, 4 o'clock. Then he sleep, he wake up 12 o'clock, go for lunch, then he go for appointment. Then come back again after late appointment, then online again. You see, one day if he never talk to people about new skin, he really feel the whole body. I say it's very difficult for you not to become successful in new skin. Because already it become part of his life. Right? Maybe many of you think that, oh, it's xiao. Right? If you are able to put in the kind of mode, new skin become part of your life. It's not xiao, you know, it's enjoyable, right? Because you enjoy the process. Right? The second thing you need to do, what is that? If you still cannot see, then you have to bring 2 bottles. Use all products. Right? Use all products that are relevant to you. What do I mean by relevant? Because some of the female products men cannot use, right? Yes or no? So use all the products that are relevant to you. Right? And get familiar with the products. We always say we are not in the selling business. But we are in the sharing business. Right? We are different from those car dealer or property agent, right? But I'm not saying anything bad thing about them. It's just that those are what we call sales jobs. Our business is built on what? You use the product yourself, you get excited, then you share the product, the benefits. But if you do not use the product, can you share with people? Can. That is called selling. Correct or not? Yeah, some of the car salesmen tell you, wow, so good about this, but you realize that they never buy. That is called selling. In this business, we talk about what? sharing. So the most important, you realize that if you really want to do very well in this business, because I see a lot of people, they are just normal people, right? They are not super salesmen. They are really not a good speakers. They cannot speak well, but they do well because they share from their heart. How many of you do not have heart? Have, right? So it's very easy. All you need to do is to, right, use the product, right, and share with your heart because you believe in the product. It's always easier when after you use the product to share with people. If you try to remember and memorize the technical terms, right, in the products, then you try to sell, it's difficult. But anyway, you realize in New Skin there are a lot of products that we need to use anyway. How many of you use Dali every day? Colgate, AP24, those are converted already. Okay, before that you realize a lot of people are using Dali, right? Colgate, right? Before AP24, you need to brush your teeth, right? Don't tell me that you never brush your teeth until AP24 come. Cannot be, right? You still brush your teeth. It's just that now you have another option, which is AP24. You are using the products anyway. But if you use Colgate for 30 years, or even a loyal customer for 30 or 40 years, like my parents, Colgate never pay a single commission at all. True? But lucky for my father, because my father sells Colgate also in his shop, so at least he makes some income from Colgate. But for most people, you realize that they are not. They are just pure consumers. But you realize that in this business, right, because we need to use the product, we need to use the products anyway. We just change the what? The brand. Do you wash your hair? Only those people that have no hair can say that they never wash, huh? But let me tell you that those people that have no hair also need to wash, huh? Right, so you realize that these are the things that you are using it anyway. You convert it into the volumes. Right, especially right now you realize that if you have 100 PV, almost $100, about $200 Sing dollars, right? Right? If your whole household, if you convert all the products you need to use, you can start to make commission already. Right? So use all products to get very familiarized with the product. Then you are able to share. Right? The third thing, share the products. Right? I've mentioned also earlier on already. Only when you use the product, then you are able to share the products passionately. Right? Some of the leaders I met, I realized that they don't know nothing about compensation plan. They don't know anything about the marketing plan, how it's paid. When they talk about New Skin, they get so passionate. When they talk about product, it's like the product can fly, Really. And it's very difficult for you to reject him or her, because they really benefited from the product. Right? And one good thing about New Skin is that really the products. I want to sidetrack a bit over here to tell you some of the experience that I gathered for the past team elite trip. That was in Europe in June, right? And we got an opportunity to meet some of the leaders from other countries. In business, you realize that in life there are always ups and downs. True? Yes or no? In business, it's the same thing, right? In New Skin, it's the same thing, because New Skin is a business, right? New Skin is part of life. So when I went to the team elite trip, right, I met some of the leaders from South Korea and America, and their experience actually, enlightened me, or rather, that give me a very strong insight about this business. Why? In fact, these two countries, they experienced some hiccup or slowdown in the sales before, right? Just give you an example of the United States. We used to be a hyper-growth company, right? First 10 years of business, right? We did $1 billion. Because due to the hyper-growth, right? Why is it that growing so fast? There are some manipulation. By who? By the distributors. Who scheme the plans. So what happened is that, because of these individual distributors' misbehavior, we get into investigation by FTC, by the Free Trade Commission, I think. Right? So sometimes the company is growing too fast. It's not good for you, though. You start to invite a lot of criticism, right? Investigation. So what happened is that, indeed, this group of distributors, right, they are doing something that is not right. And what happened is that overnight, one of the TV program in the news, right, reported about Nu Skin being a illegal pyramid scheme, and 20 million people see the TV, watch the TV. So what do you think will happen? 20 million is almost a Malaysian, one big Malaysia, right? Overnight, you realize that a lot of people, quit the business. And I was amazed, and I really want to find out about this team elite, how they survived through this period of time. Then he shared with me, during the period of time, after what happened in the TV programs, the news, really, it's no way for them to talk about Nu Skin opportunity. So they switched their strategy and just talk about the products. And they just share about the benefits of the product. And amazingly, their business grew faster. So that comes to a conclusion is that Nu Skin really has got good products, even though without the marketing the opportunity, they are still genuine consumers, they are using the products. And that is where they start to pick up the volumes. And the volumes are genuine and very stable. Right? You realize that in business, there are always ups and downs. True, right? There could be people coming for opportunity. But you realize that only when the products are good, they are able to be long-lasting. Because ultimately, you need to face the customers. I always say, very simple. In all sales organization or in any stable organization, there's always a triangle or pyramid. 80% are consumers. 15 to 18% of people are sales-oriented commissions earner. And only less than 5% or maybe 3% of the people, they are good organizers. All the organization, be it multi-level marketing organization or sales organization or traditional channel of distribution, they are the same. Because it's these 80% of the consumers that are keeping consuming the products. That's the reason why where the revenue come from. Then the history repeats itself in South Korea. What happened in South Korea? We started in 1996. And because Nu Skin is growing so well in Japan, growing so well in Hong Kong and Taiwan, and of course the next country they open is in South Korea. So everybody is like boom to South Korea. In the first year in business, we did US 120 million. But for some of you who are already in the business, you know that Japan we are doing so well. First year we are doing US 130 million, right? And in Korea, the first year in the business, they did US 120 million. Korea is very, very much smaller than Japan, right? And they did US 120 million. But there's too much speculation. And what happened on the second year? They dropped 90%. Left with 10%. From 120 million to goes down to close to about 15 million. I never experienced that before, but I really want to find out from them, how they feel for those people, at the moment of time. And true enough, because the quality of Nu Skin products, they pick up every year, until last year they overtake USA. And today Korea is the second largest market in the whole Nu Skin. So you realize from all these experiences, I realized that, well, ultimately, if the products are not good, you may preach about the opportunity, but at the end of the day, they will not last. Why? Because there will be another opportunity coming. Always. Because if the products are good, right? I always say how to distinguish a good company or long-term company with a short-term company. Very simple. Putting aside the marketing plan or the compensation plan, right? If the people will still buy the products for their own benefit, then this company will stay long-term. If nobody will try ever want to use the product, but they use the product because the plan is good, right? They can make money, then this is dangerous. Because you know why? The comp plan can be duplicated. Right? You and I can come out of a company with a similar plan and any products. Right? So from these two incidents, or the leaders sharing, I began to more really, very, very confident about Nu Skin product because they went through the path. Right? They understand. Right? That is the merit about Nu Skin product. For some of you who are new, probably you haven't experienced our products before. I have seen a lot of people, I talked to a lot of people, I realized that those people who have used Nu Skin product, you will never want to touch any other products. True or not? Because you just feel uncomfortable. Sometimes I say that we are spoiled after you use Nu Skin. You will never want to try any other products. That's the reason why you realize that Nu Skin can keep growing stronger and stronger. Right? Okay. What is the fourth thing? Listen to tape, right? Watch some of the VCD, some of the materials, tools that we have, or listen to some of the CDs. But these are very important. Why? Because when you get out of this environment, nobody is going to monitor you. You can do anything, and that is a problem. If you are not disciplined enough, right, you will fall into a trap of exploiting your freedom too early. Yeah? Right? So we need to keep ourselves focused by listening to the tips, the experience of some of the successful leaders, right? Some of the skills, right? Keep yourself engaged in the business regularly so that you will stay very focused. Right? Just like tonight, if some of you bring MP3, right? I suppose some of you, right? Or you bring tape recorder, you can tape it down. If tonight, if you miss me, just play. I can't sing for you, but I can, right? I can sing for you again, right? This is the power of technology, right? This is the power of technology, and in fact, you try to interact, right? With, if you have no chance to meet some of the leaders, doesn't matter, right? But you can gather a lot of information and skills and their experience through their CDs, right? This is probably from their brains, right? You spend a couple of dollars, but you realize that you can absorb whatever you want, and don't only listen to one times. Some people say that I hear OPP before already. Before you know how to deliver, right? That means you haven't listened to enough times. Right? Do you know why there are a lot of leaders, like, sometimes when they share with people, they can share so many things? Because they have a lot of information. Right? They keep input and repeat and keep input and reinforce and reinforce and reinforce. This is not something that miraculous. It's not miracle. Just like, right, you're able to sing some of the songs after you listen to it. Sometimes. Right, you go to karaoke, you know how to sing some of the songs, right? Why? Because you always hear. Right, there's a one point of time that one song is very popular. What? 老鼠爱大米. Right? Then you realize that, oh, in the street and everywhere, you realize that you hear, right? Sometimes you look karaoke, right? You read the words, you know how to sing also. You know how to play wrong. You also know how to sing along, right? So same thing over here. If you want to be well versed in this business, right? Engage in the business by really listening to all the business new skin related tools, the tips, right? And the next one, read recommended books. We talk about recommended because there are just too many books in the market, right? Some of the books are not good for you, so doesn't mean that read books, right? Don't read wrong books. Okay, you will input differently, right? So we talk about read recommended books by the leaders and the system, right? Some books like what? A Parable Pipeline, right? Copycat Marketing. Recently there's a good book called Blue Ocean Strategy, right? So you realize that in fact all these books are good for what? For you to share with people. The last trip I went to China, I was sharing with some people about our scanner opportunity and our G3. I say we are not doing direct selling, or we are not doing multi-level marketing business. In fact, this is the Blue Ocean Strategy. They say, what is Blue Ocean Strategy? Right? For some of them, actually, they read the books before they understand. I say, why is that a Blue Ocean Strategy? Because today, there are a lot of products in the market, right? They are facing fierce competition. Right? We call it, a lot of us actually ending up in the Red Sea. Why red color? Because there are a lot of blood, right? Bloodshed. So it's red ocean, right? So this idea about Blue Ocean Strategy is that, you think that corporations or company need to think of the area that is not competitive, right? And on ocean, they were not so competitive. They talk about Blue Ocean Strategy. So I thought, actually, scanner is our Blue Ocean Strategy. Why? Because nobody has got. if you compete yourself with all other health supplement, it's Red Sea, right? It's bloodshed. But you realize that whichever health supplement you could be taking, but you need to use our scanner to verify that whether it works or not. Is that a blue ocean strategy? Yes or no? But you see that sometimes you read this book, right? You have idea to present, right? You no point for you to be involved. True, health supplement is a big industry. It's a future industry. When it comes to it's a future industry, meaning that there will be a lot of competition, no doubt. Just like today, you look at the handphone. There are so many brands. I just came back from KL. My friend, I have a talk with my friend. My friend just got a distributorship for one of the China mobile called Amoy. Really, Amoy, don't bluff. AMOI. It's from Xiamen, from Fujian, right? And they have a lot of other electronic products also. He visited the factories. He said it's huge. They even supply to a lot of mobile phones in the world, OEM. Right? So you realize that when you read a bit more, you are able to convey and relate to them better. Right? How about our G3? Is that a blue ocean strategy? Yes or no? There's no competition, right? We are only sole gag fruit provider. The first, right? Yes or no? So in fact, and of course, if you talk about antioxidants drinks, we dare to guarantee in Singapore and Malaysia and Indonesia, right? We cannot guarantee in China yet, right? We have money back guarantee, right? We guarantee that you that if you take 3 months supply of our G3, if your score do not go up, money back. That means what? That means we are that confident. In China, we also very confident, but we worry that the China people manipulate. Right? Because it's smarter than us. Okay, so it doesn't mean that the product doesn't work in China, but it's just that because the culture is different. So we dare to guarantee in Singapore and Malaysia and Indonesia, right? We say what? 3 months, if you consistently taking our G3, if your score do not go up, no need money. Right? That is the confident. Right? So coming back again, right, reading books, right? So these are the things that actually can help you. Right? All great leaders in the world are good readers. So engage yourself some time, right, before you sleep. Try to input good things into your head. Some people, you realize that before they sleep, what happened? They switch on the TV. Make sure that before you sleep, don't input anything that's negative. Sometimes you realize that we are so busy in the daytime, we go back home, right? Before we sleep, we read newspaper. Open newspaper, what happened? All negative. Recently, what murder case, right? Mongolia murder in Malaysia. What gossip, right? Then the latest update, right? I was on a plane, then I was reading the newspaper. You're saying that this inner Mongolia murder is not the one that is, they think. So all these are gossip, right? But you realize that before you sleep, you are inputting all this something that is really not productive. What happened? You go back to sleep. Then when you are sleeping, what happened? You start to work on your mind. Sorry, you wouldn't become model, It's not that you will become model, okay? It's just that all the negative input were deposited into bank. You get what I mean? So before you sleep, read something that's motivational, inspiring, right? Before you sleep, put positive stuff into it, so that when you dream, also something that's positive. This is very important, Right? Sometimes you cannot sleep. It's also good that you read some books, because for a lot of people, what happens if they cannot? Once they read books, they sleep. Right? So the best thing is that you drink together with G3. Because really G3 can help you to sleep better, right? Okay? Okay, the next one is what? Attend all meetings. I would say that if you have the chance, attend everything. Why attend everything? Some people will say that, wow, these business are very legit. Always need to attend meetings. Hey, please lah. You are running a business and yet you realize that you don't have to attend meetings? You think possible? You don't believe me? You have friends that are doing business, right? You have businessmen friends. You try to call them during the daytime. Sometimes you cannot get them, right? Sometimes they will pick up the phone. Sometimes they never pick up the phone because too busy. But occasionally, if they pick up the phone, they will tell you what? I'm in a meeting. Call you back. Yes, no. All really big timer that's running business, they are always engaged in the meetings. So if you are not engaging in a meeting, something wrong with you. So I always say, right, if you are involved in this business, where do you position yourself? Are you a consumer? Then you don't need to come for meeting, right? If you treat yourself like a builder, even though you are part-time, you are just like running a part-time business, because all these meetings give you the right inputs that you need for your business. Small meetings of such, right, you will not lose out the most updated information. Sometimes in this business, you will, not only in this business, in all business today, it's just too competitive, right? Informations are abundant, and sometimes we just lose a bit. What happened? You lose the competitive in the market already. Right? You lose the newest idea how to run the business already. Right? The best way for you to stay engaged in the business is to attend meetings. I always say that small meetings you will not lose the information. Big meetings, it could be life-changing. Just like convention. Right? Some of the convention, like our US convention, right? Our Hong Kong convention, these are the convention you realize that when you go, you really see something that, you want deep in your heart, that you may not able to see if you run the business yourself. Right? You will not see a bigger picture. I know that some of you actually came back from Shanghai. Right? I bet later many of you will share, right? I bet that for those of you who went to Shanghai trip and see the companies, really many of you will have different faith and belief about the company. True? Yes, no? When you look at the OPP and the materials, you look into the, just like pictures, right? You don't feel it. But when you're in it, you realize, wow. I was in KL. Some of the leaders who went to Shanghai came back to share with me. They say, after they visited the Shanghai factories and all these things, they say, they look at all the Malaysian company, how to touch them. There's no way they can touch them. But the thing is that if you do not have that kind of confidence, sometimes you talk to people also like, don't know who is big, who is small. Right? But you realize that you see the things itself, you realize that you're very confident. You want to compare what our Reshi, right, our Codimax, you are very confident because you saw it. So big meetings are very important. And sometimes I realize that for a lot of distributors, I see it's life-changing. It's really life-changing. It can change your whole perception about the business. Some of you initially, I know that, right, you could only want to make part-time income. You never thought of want to build a global business. Because never in your mind that you are able to build a global business because you're just a housewife. Right? It's not possible in a normal traditional way. But in this business, you never know. You will expand a lot of possibilities because you never know who knows who. This business has become borderless, right? And one good thing that the reason why you need to attend the meetings is to stay focused. There are just too many distractions, be it anything, once you walk out of this environment. We always say that the reason why we need to be in the environment because we are all like-minded people. We will encourage each other, right? When you get out of the environment, what happened? You start to interact with gamblers, drinkers, right, mahjong players, right, karaoke goers, movie goers, what else? Disco. These are all distractions, right? Success is a habit, right? When you stay engaged in the business through the meetings, first you become very positive, right? You realize that a lot of things you think is always hope and dreams. You will never be negative, right? Any time when you feel down, always come back. Right? It's normal, right? It's for people to feel down at any point of time, right? But the more important thing is, how do you pick up yourself fast? It's difficult for you to try to pick up yourself fast. We need to leverage, we need to borrow strength from other people. That's the reason why we need meetings and environment for us to pick up fast. Right? So attend everything. Right? If you have the time. Right? Some of the things that you realize, product training, not interested in product. But sometimes you just happen to attend one of the product, you will be amazed to find out, wow, this skin product so good. That's the reason why these are the little things that we do to help to reinforce the faith and the belief. This is not about selling business. This is about how believe you are about the business. So this is to help to keep reinforced, right? The next one, consult working uplines. What do we mean by working uplines? Right? Sometimes the person who introduced you in the business, they are just a consumer. They may not be very serious in the business. Possible? Yes. But doesn't matter. Right? You track upwards your working uplines. What do I mean by working uplines? Those people that are really seriously building the business. They are really engaging in the business up to date. They know what's happening to the market. 22 years ago in 1984, when New Skin started its only skincare products. And today, we have launched our first nutritional drink. Is that a big change? Yes. So you could be a US 20 millionaire, but you realize that if you have retired for 10 years, you are not considered as working upline anymore because it's lost touch. Right? So keep close contact with your working uplines so that you always get the correct, the right information. Right? It doesn't matter whether you are Blue Diamond or Team Elite. So what, you are US 20 millionaire. If you are lost touch in a business for less than in 3 months or 6 months time, you're out. That is the cruel fact about any business. Right? If you want to achieve lasting success in this business, you got to keep on. You got to stay engaged. Right? Okay, the next thing, be accountable. Right? We always say that we need to practice accountability. This is the business of building relationship. It's all about relationship and trust. Right? And it takes time to build the trust. It takes time to build the trust. And it takes no time to break it. Just very fast. Right? So that's the reason why in our system we talk about accountability. What do I mean by accountability? A lot of people don't understand about accountable. What's the meaning of accountable? I'll give you some examples. If you draw a check, make sure it's good. Right? Don't bounce your check. That is also accountability. If you promise to come to certain event, right, make sure you come. This is called accountability. Okay? Right? So everything that you promise, you must do it. If not, you don't promise. This is what we call accountability, because people only see what you do. They will not listen to what you say. They may listen to 1 or 2 or 3 times, but they will still observe what you are doing. What do we mean by accountability again? Right? You realize that we talk about poaching. Line poaching is also what? Being not accountable. Right? Some people, what happen? Always like to poach other people's line. You are not being accountable. You did not practice accountability. Right? If everybody is poaching each other's line, then what happened? How do we have a good environment? Just like if Singapore government allows everybody to steal. Never mind, okay, steal. Right? So we need to promote the kind of environment. So start from yourself. Be accountable for your business. Right? If you are selling, what do you call it? If you are undercutting the price, right, in the market, are you being accountable? No. So these are the things that we need to practice ourselves as a leader. Right? 8 things that we need to do every day. Okay, next one, we're talking about building dreams. This is a business about dreams. Right? Not daydreaming, also not nightmare. It's about building big dreams. Right? I want to talk a bit more over here about this comparison, right? This comparison about holding a job and about new skin business. The reason why people do not persist in this business because they do not see the values of the business. Right? Because you do not attach monetary values to the business, that's why you cannot feel it. Especially for the first few years, you don't really achieve a lot yet. But let's compare with most of the 99% of people, the working force, what are they doing? and what is the achievement that they can get, right? Okay, over here you realize we talk about normal job. An average income earners, right, in Singapore, if you talk about 3,000, is it quite good? Not bad, right? I think a lot of people are making less than that, right? We talk about a normal job that command about $3,000 per month, right, which work 12 months in a year and 40 years. So, right, at the end of 40 years, you will make about 1.44 million. So every one of you has a chance to become a millionaire, even though through working. But that will take about 40 years. But after 40 years, 1.44 million is only worth today's $100,000. Because of inflation, right? The real value of money will drop. True? So what we want to calculate the real value of our labor. Right? So how much actually we spend every day? From 9 to 5, almost 8 hours of work per day, times 5 days in a week, assuming that you are on a 5-day week. Many of us today, we are actually working 5.5 days, or even more, right, over time. And of course, if you work for 50 weeks, 2 weeks of annual leave, and times 40 years. So how many hours you will spend? About close to about 80,000. So how much average labor cost or price attached to you, right? So 1.44 million divided by 80,000. How much is that? $18 per hour. That is your wage rate. How much is McDonald's paying now? Per hour? $5. At least you're better. Right? You still got $18 per hour. So it's very, very simple. If right now you're working and you're commanding about $3,000, every time when you go to work, right, past 1 hour you give yourself $18. Then you will appreciate the value of your input. Right? If you're not happy with this $18, that means something wrong with what you're doing right now. You need to change. True or not? But you may not be able to change right away. But New Skin offers you the kind of part-time opportunity or business that you could do it. Right? Look, let's look into the value of New Skin business. Right? Assuming that we take about 5 years. We talk about 5 years to become a stable blue diamond. Right? On average, you realize that according to statistics, an average paid blue diamond will make about 30,000 to 50,000 US dollar. Okay? But we talk about 30,000 Sing dollars over here. Okay, 30,000 times 12 months times 40 years, that means they're making about 14.4 million. Right? If you divide the number of hours, the actual efforts that they put in, right? 20 hours per week times 50 weeks times 5 years is 5,000 hours. Right? If you divide 14.4 million divided by 5,000, in fact you realize the real value per hour is actually $2,880 per hour. Then you will know why you need to work very hard. This is what we call about leverage concept. Right? Then you will find that there's values in this business. You are willing to work extra. Right? You will set goal. Where do you need to achieve? That comes back to our goal setting. Right? You talk about short-term goal. You talk about your middle-term goal and long-term goal. What do you want to achieve? For some of the new people, right, I think the immediate goal you need to set is when you want the LTP. It may not be immediate, but when? Attach a time to it. In Malay they call Dun Besok Rusa, right? Besok Rusa. Right? Attach a timeline. Right, the medium term goal, when you want to become a ruby, or 5,000 GSV, or 10,000 GSV. And long term goal, you want to become a blue diamond when? 3 years, 5 years, 6 months, doesn't matter. Never compare with people. Right? The problems a lot of people they get, you know, or rather they did not think long term in this business because you know why? They always compare with other people. New Skin is an opportunity for you to change your own life. People are the reason why people do very well, extremely well, because they put in very much more efforts than you. Why do you want to compare with them? But you know for yourself that through this opportunity, you may just want to make additional income of $2,000 to $3,000 as a part-timer. Then you do not compare with those people who are fully committed and work 18 hours per day. They give you the kind of flexibility. but it's a choice. Right? So set the goal. It's personal, it's yours. And work closely with your working uplines. Because your working uplines will know. If you say that you want to take 10 years to become a blue diamond, then your working uplines, they will know to put less time on you. Right? If you say that 6 months you want to become blue diamond, then the working upline, he also blur, right? You have to kanchong, right? How can this people? So it's up to you. But let your upline know. But it must be realistic. Right? It must be realistic. If it's not realistic, you realize that at the end of the day, whatever you do, you will not achieve anything. Right? And more important is attach something that you like, your dreams. It could be a car, a BMW car, or Mercedes, or whichever you like. When you attach some values to your goal, it becomes meaningful. Because for most people, money itself, there's no value until you spend it. Correct? Right? Until you spend it, then you see the values. Oh, actually this one costs $1 million. If you never spend it, additional 10,000, $1 million in the bank, you don't feel it, you know. True or not? So whatever you like, just whatever you like, right? We always say that take the picture and visualize until it become real. Right? This is what we talk about subconscious mind, right? Repeat and reinforce the thing that what you want, and it become real. Right? Every day. Actually, a lot of people thought that this is something like xiao liao, you know. Actually, it's not. You know why? Because when every day you repeat and reinforce, you stay very focused. That's all. If you never repeat, you realize that sometimes you forgot what you want, you know. You know. So it's not about anything that is miracles. No. It's just to keep yourself focused on what you want. Right? Attitude. We talk about attitude. Many people ask me about skills, how to do the business. Sometimes you realize that skills come with experiences. True? Right? It cannot be straight away. Primary school, you say you don't want to attend primary school, cannot. Secondary school also don't want. Straight away I want to go university. Cannot. Cannot. So ultimately I realized one thing in this business. It's all about attitude. Why? Because if you have the right attitude, will you try to learn the things they want? Yes or no? If you do not have the right attitude, we have everything for you, all the skills that you need, you realize that you can't be bothered to go and attend. True? If you have some CD or VCD just right in front of you, but you realize that you don't even want to listen at all. Because it's not meaningful to you at all. So ultimately, we need to get our attitude right. Now, what do we want in this business? Or are you treating this as a business? I know many of you could be starting on a part-time. It doesn't matter. But more important is the attitude over here. Because in outside, right, if you are holding a job, hardly in any opportunity that offers you a part-time business opportunity. Because your boss will never want you to moonlight. Right? There are a lot of people today, they're giving tuition, earn extra income. But you know for sure the tuition, you have to keep on working to get the tuition fees, right? One day you stop, you realize that one day you get old, you got family, you got more children, you can't do it anymore. But this part-time business allows you to. So frame your attitude right. And amazingly, right, if you add the words attitude, right, or rather if you calculate, you know, you numberize it, you attach numbers to it, attitude is A, right? A is number 1, right? If you calculate T, actually is 20. Right? T again, another T is 20. I is 9. T is 20. U is 21. D is 4. E is 5. If you add it up, what do you get? Huh? So the word itself already spells it for you. Attitude is 100%. Right? If you have the 100% attitude today, probably you got something on, you realize that you are willing to spend a bit more time over here. Why? Because you have the kind of learning attitude to make it in the business. Okay? Okay, 5 basic rules. So what are the rules? Right?
since we are building organization, there must be some rules for us to abide, right? Yes or no? Right? If not, there's no government, right? Hokkien called bo ching hu. Right? If no government, what happened? Why you laugh at it? Huh? So we need some basic rules in this business, and this has been around for many, many years, right? About building organization. What is the first rule? Any new ideas, first consult with your working uplines. You see, we seem to repeat this point again, right? We had these points early on, and this is meaning that this is something that's very important. Right? This is something that's very important. Okay? So, track any new ideas that you have, just talk to your working uplines. Right? Get some of their feedback about this idea so that you do not waste time making mistakes and spending too much time on unproductive things. Right? Second rule, anything negative, do not pass it down. Only pass positive things. Right? If you meet any of your uplines or your sidelines, if they are negative, just run away. Right? Because negative will spread. Right? Don't kepo, huh? Right? Even though you listen a bit, you realize you're kind of polluted already. Right? If your immune system is good, you realize that you are not, right? Most of the people, immune system is no good, you know. Just like your antioxidant score is low for most people, right? So, don't kepo. Some people, never mind, listen a bit, won't pollute me one. I'm very steady one. My advice to you is that never even want to listen. Because it doesn't help. Right? Sometimes you realize that we're going to listen a bit of, hey, yeah, also got logic, also got theory, all of the reasons. Then after you go back, what? At home you think, go back. Oh, yeah. So one day gone. True or not? Because it does not contribute to your business growth. If you engage in too much of all this gossiping, you want to be very successful, it's very difficult. When you stop this, you realize that all those people who gossip, they will run away from you. Because they find that you never entertain them. They find someone else to entertain. So don't worry. They will definitely find someone to entertain. You understand? Yes. Because you are here to run a business. Right? So only pass positive message. Right? Only pass positive information. Right? Encouragement. Motivate. Right? All the good things. That's why New Skin is all of the good, none of the bad, right? Right? What's the third rule? Do not criticize uplines or downlines and sidelines. Right? So you realize that, well, in this business, there are competition, no doubt. But frankly speaking, right, if you really understand, in this world, there is abundance. Right? There's no way you can finish doing the business. Already 22 years, you realize that there are still people joining New Skin. Not only New Skin, even Amway business has been around for almost 50 years. In Malaysia, 30 plus. You go to the Amway showcase, there are still people joining the business. Don't worry, it's never too late. Right? But more important things over here in our environment, right? We do not preach, don't preach to people to go and criticize people because it's negative energy. Right? You always try to talk bad things about other people. Do you think you feel good after that? But you realize what happened is that at the end of the day, you are the one who loses out the most. When you talk to people, the first person who listen is who? Yourself. And every day you are inputting negative and bad things. How can you do well? So never focus on criticism. You get what I mean? Yes. Right? Only focus on positive things. Encouragement. And you realize sooner or later, right, those criticism and all these things, they will run away from you. Because they realize that you also don't want to listen. The more you offer, right, to listen, the worse you become. You know, these are negative energies, right? Sometimes you realize that you do not know, but actually it already affect the quality of your life. No? Even the Same thing for your uplines, don't create your downlines. Right? Even for sidelines. Right? Even for sidelines. I say new skin haven't even started yet. Why you worry? The only competition that you have is yourself. True or not? If you're really that hardworking, even midnight you can talk to people. You just walk extra mile, you can talk to people. How can you ever finish? You will never finish. But whole night you're focusing on criticize other people. What happened? So no good, they want no good, you are the best lah. Right? You see some people, right, they always say this one is so good, this one is no good, who also no good. Then you are the best lah. Right? So do not create or promote the kind of culture. It's bad energy. Okay? The fourth thing, do not engage in monetary tussle. Right? Same things over here. The best thing about this business is that there's no, borrowings. Right? Not like traditional business. You could create a huge multi-million business, but you realize that there are a lot of outstanding bills. Right? Or bad debts that you realize you cannot collect. It looks good on the balance sheet. Looks good that you have huge revenue, but you don't make money. Right? The best thing about new skin business, you realize that all the transactions is between the distributors and the company. Right? What I'm doing a presentation right now in the whole world, right? There could be people purchasing. Now it's at night, right? There are people in US today, now it's morning, right? They could make some purchase online. Right? So you realize that the model of this business is how they do not create the monetary tussle. So among uplines and downlines is the same thing. Right? Even if you advocate, right? You advocate, what happened? If you go for a meal, the uplines and the downlines, who pay? Some people say, upline pay lah, upline make money wa. Right? But one day you will become upline, right? Right? Established upline will have many downlines, right? Yes, no? So you realize that those uplines has got a lot of downlines on. What happened after the meeting? They run. Because got to spend 100 people, right? $10 is already $1,000, right? Is it fair? No. Not fair. Right? So we need to practice what kind of culture? Huh? American style. Right? In China we call AA system. Right? Meaning what? Each one foot his own bill, right? Now even dating, a lot of ladies they're paying their own share, Yes or no? Yes. No? Yes. Yes. A lot of ladies, they prefer to pay their own. I don't want to owe you anything. Don't ever think of taking advantage of me. Right? Because now ladies are more independent. Right? They have the ability to bring their own money, right? That's why it's a good thing. Then as a guy, we can save more money. Right? So do not engage in monetary tussle. The fifth, do not engage in relationship tussle. Right? Always in this business, you will meet a lot of people, a lot of interesting people, wonderful people, right? Charismatic people, right? There will be a lot of sparks. Right? So behave yourself. Okay? So these 5 basic rules, right, in our organization, right? Same thing throughout building a business, right? These are the things that we keep remind ourselves. Okay? Next slide. The next one is 5 values of STWW, right? The values that we want to promote. You want to promote. Because you realize that people will be attracted by the money-making opportunities. But people stay together because they love the environment. Right? Just like, probably your family members, they are not that perfect, right? Are they perfect? No. They are not perfect, right? Right? They could be not as educated, like your parents could not be as educated as you, right? But you like to stay together with your family. Why? Why? Because it's the same values, right? Same family, right? So it's the same thing over here that in STWW over here, we educate these values. Of course, educating values, it takes a lot of time, right? It takes a lot of time. But every day or every meetings, if you're able to preach this, then we are able to attract the like-minded people to come together. Am I right? Yes, no? And those people, they are not like-minded, they will eventually leave the organization, right? But it doesn't matter. As long as those people that of the same like-minded come together, we were able to achieve a lot of bigger things. Okay? So the first thing, same thing, integrity. Right? We talk about the foundation in this business is built on relationship and trust. Right? We need to uphold the highest integrity possible. Only when you realize that you conduct a business with high integrity, people will respect you. True or not? Yes. Right? If you always, do the business, monkey business, right? Right? You may make money, you realize that you may not gain the respect. And many times you realize that people, right, one of the motivation in life for people is not so much about money alone. Right? We talk about Maslow hierarchy of needs. We need recognitions. Right? We need self-actualization. True or not? Right? After some of the basic needs are satisfied. In fact, not everybody, some of you may think that, well, if I were the richest man like Bill Gates, don't know how good. Actually, frankly speaking, you only talk. Deep inside you, you may not want. True or not? Yes. Because if you really want, you will really do all the things that move towards it. But most of the time, you realize that actually these are not the things that you really want. Am I right? Yes. Right? So, for normal people, 99% of people, in fact, we need to be respected. Only when you uphold high integrity, right, even the company, right, your uplines, your downlines, people in the environment, right, you will gain respect. Right? The third values they want to instill is edification. By edification, we means build up or complement in a simple terms. Right? Edify what? Edify your uplines. Right? Look into the good points. Of course, there are some bad points, right? But if you want to focus on the bad points, never ending. True? So, same thing, we build up all the good things about people. About people. Focus on their strength. Right? If they are good at certain things, you leverage on their strength. Even can you edify your sidelines? Yes or no? Yes. Some people, no. Wait till I edify my sidelines, they go and join them. Right? Actually, by edification, in fact, you're giving the new people confidence, right? True or not? Right? Even though maybe he's just a normal person, he's a handicap or whichever, right? He's also able to do the business. But because we promote the environment, the last one I'm going to share about the collaboration. So, understand about edification? So these are the environment we want to promote, right? Even among the sidelines. Okay? The fourth values, gratitude. Always feel grateful. Even little small things. Right? If everything you want to calculate, you realize that you will feel very miserable at the end of the day. Even if you make money. Because you realize that the whole world seems to owe you a lot. A lot of times when people, sometimes they are rich but you realize that they're not happy because they find that, always people owe them. Bad things happen to you, you have to be grateful. Right? Because sometimes bad things happen to you is to test you. To move to the next level is a breakthrough. Because if your life is too good, there's no challenge, you realize that you're not tested at all. Am I right? Yes. Yes, no? Yes. Right? So same thing over here, right? Always feel grateful, even though somebody treat you badly. Because in any event and incident, you will learn and you will grow. You will grow. And you will definitely grow to be a better person. Right? If you always, think that somebody shortchanged you or, at the end of the day, you realize that you really, at the end of the day, when you go back, you will feel very empty. Okay? The fifth value is collaboration. By collaboration, we mean what? Working interdependently. When we talk about the fifth value of collaboration initially, a lot of people mistaken that, that means all the lines come together, right? Collaboration does not equal to line missing. Okay? Or line crossing. Okay, what do I mean by that? Meaning that if you talk about a line of sponsorship or anything regarding this business, you still talk to your working uplines. never consult your sidelines, because it will create confusion. You understand what I mean? Sometimes you realize that, well, it seems that your sidelines do better. Maybe they got a better strategy. Right? And what happened is that, well, they could provide you with some information, but you realize that it may not be going in line with your group of doing the business. So what happened is that you were confused. Remember, we go back to the first, the one of the two important, the mindset about duplication, because it's about duplication business. It's not about ability business. You get what I mean? Right? So collaboration means, right, when it comes to a meeting, all our sideline working together to make the event more successful, right? More lively environment. And from that, you realize every one of us benefit from the meeting. As far as the business is concerned, right, you still track back to your own working uplines, right? This is what we call no line mixing and no line crossing, right? Some people thought that, wow, collaboration means now we can mix lines. Then you realize what happened is that, right, your line of sponsorship will not be intact, and you will not gain respect. The uplines will not gain respect too. You get what I mean? Right? So collaboration means that we come together, right, to support some event, right, some of the function, okay, by working interdependently. Not dependently, not independently, but what? Interdependently. Right? So this is what we mean by collaboration. Collaborate with the company. Do we need to collaborate with the company? Yes. Right? Some people, they will think that, wow, when they become successful, they thought they are bigger than the company. Well, in this business, sometimes when people grow, the business grow, they thought by themselves they can grow to become so big. You think so? Without a company, can you become so big? No. But people forget when they grow big, because the head also becomes too big. Right? So remember, right, we need to collaborate with the company, because company is the one who pays us commission. Collaborate with everybody, but not missing of lines. Is that clear? Okay, the last point, right, usually for the last point in NDO, right, this is the training whereby you can do it at home, in a small group, right, not necessarily in a classroom style. You can do it anywhere. Right, some people, they ask me, how do we use NDO? Right, in fact, NDO is a very, it's a very lively way of conducting training among your groups, right, among your groups, some of due and targeting their own problems. Okay, some of you have got sponsored retail problems, so you focus more on the retail part, right? Some of them they have got attitude problems. You focus more on the building the attitude part, right? So all the points that I mentioned earlier on, right, are flexible for you to use. You get what I mean? Right? So sometimes you realize that during some of the small meetings that you are, 3 to 5 people or a small group, a round table, right? You can actually abstract some of the points that is relevant to the current progress of the business, and you apply on it. Right? Many people thought the NDO is dead. You have just followed by the points, right? But all the points are relevant, right? In fact, all single point, if you want to convert into a lesson, it could be a 15 minutes or even 1.5 hours lesson, right? I'll just keep it very short today, right? Just touch on each individual point. So the last point, usually what we do is that we will keep the latest information, right? We will announce some of the latest information, latest progress, promotion, the company's new, right? The company's new or the system news, and some of the trainings, right? For you to pass the information down, right? Of course, recently, right? Just only the last week, right? We have incentive trip, right? Shanghai incentive trip. I know that there are a lot of people who had qualified and went and come back, right? And many of you actually benefited from the trip, right? Yes or no? I heard that you are very well received, right? Oh, after I didn't go, right? But I received a lot of feedback from a lot of the downlines, and they told me they are treated like somebody, right? Feeling so good, wow. Because we went to a team lead trip, the same thing, the company treated us very well. So a lot of people did not expect even the Shanghai trip they are treated so well. So do you want to listen to some of these people who qualified, how they feel about the company and how they benefit from this trip? Yes or no? Yes. So without further ado, I'll pass the mic back to the MC, and we have a sharing for the Shanghai trip qualifiers, and how they feel about this trip. Right. With that, I want to close my sharing for tonight. Thank you for your time.